Eugene looked calm now, carefully analyzing the situation. He had only intended to drink the blood of a creature on the level of a lord of the forest, but to think he would absorb its mana stone as well. The magic power contained within the roamer's mana stone far exceeded his expectations. Its color was different from what he had heard of, and its size was enormous. The ability he gained from the mana stone allowed him to armor his skin with black scales. With this, he might be able to block sunlight enough to move around during the day, he thought. He had first learned about the Lord of the Forest when he was once captured by mercenaries. Back then, the wetlands were not very large, so no one knew of the Lord of the Forest's existence. But as the rainy seasons and floods expanded its territory, the beast eventually revealed itself by attacking the mercenaries. In the chaos, Eugene had managed to drink a mouthful of the injured lord's blood. Thanks to that, he was able to take down several mercenaries and escape. It was then that he realized its potency, and understood that he would one day need to drain its blood completely. Now he had accumulated some power, but it was still far from enough to face a holy knight. Young Direct. He needed to avoid unwinnable battles until he was absolutely certain he could win. Eugene remembered Holy Knight Young Direct well, convinced that man could find him wherever he was, if he truly set his mind to it. He seemed to possess an exceptional ability to track monsters or undead. So instead of continuing to live in hiding, Eugene had to build enough power to face the Holy Knights when they eventually came for him. He looked up at the moon. With sunrise approaching, it was too early to fully test the Mana Stone's power. He decided to head back before dawn. But just as he was about to leave, a faint laugh echoed through the air. A voice spoke. The false master who usurped my territory and turned my beautiful lake into a wetland is finally dead. To think you would give that false master such a miserable end. I express my gratitude. The voice continued, cold and threatening. However, you must pay the price for fearlessly trespassing here and staining this land with blood. This place belongs to me, the guardian of the lake, Miriam. As she spoke, the forest seemed to tremble. The forest shall rage. The earth shall hate you. You shall be cursed, your body torn to shreds. She assumed he could not see her. Sensing the presence of a spirit was a feat only a select few could accomplish. There was no way a bald vampire like him could hear a single word she was saying, at least that was what she believed. But Eugene turned his gaze directly toward her. What are you? He asked calmly. She froze. She hadn't expected him to see her. Eugene repeated himself, his sharp eyes fixed on her. What are you? The water spirit immediately changed her tone, from arrogant to oddly submissive. Can you actually see this humble one, kin of the Nightland? She asked. Yes, Eugene replied. She hesitated. Then, did you happen to hear what I said earlier too? If you mean the part about me being a bald vampire, Eugene said calmly, yes. She froze for a moment, then quickly bowed her head. My apologies. I am the water spirit Miriam. She straightened up and continued, I was the original master of this place. But that crocodile bastard stole my territory 15 years ago, and I was forced into servitude. Well, maybe not a slave. More like a strategic partner. Prey wouldn't come if the water was dirty, so he recognized this water site as my territory. She waved her hand dismissively. Anyway, thanks to you, sir, that crocodile bastard is dead. This land will finally be purified again. Then she tilted her head, eyes narrowing thoughtfully. I definitely saw a bald old man getting eaten by that crocodile. But just when I thought you were dead, boom. An explosion, and suddenly a handsome man appears. Was that some kind of disguise to take down the crocodile? You're so meticulous. She was clearly buttering him up. Eugene, however, wasn't paying much attention. His gaze had shifted to the golden tattoos on his body. One of them was fading, slowly disappearing. He didn't know why. The fairy noticed his distraction. Oh, I should be polite. Those tattoos are pretty cool. What do they mean? I don't know, Eugene replied. They've been there since the beginning. He remembered that he had been a vampire for as long as he could remember, born this way. Even in his earliest memories, all 10 tattoos had already been etched into his body. For some reason he couldn't recall anything from his distant past. So he had focused solely on surviving, never questioning who he truly was, or whether the tattoos were some kind of imprint or spell. Did one of them unlock because of what happened today? I'm leaving, Eugene said at last. Guard the forest well. Miriam blinked in surprise. You're just leaving? I haven't had anyone to talk to in ages. As time passed, fewer and fewer beings could see spirits. She was bored to death. Wouldn't it be nice to have a conversation partner? She asked eagerly. Eugene paused. Do you intend to turn the wetlands back into a lake? She sighed. That would take a very long time to purify. Besides, wouldn't it be better to at least offer some clean water to handsome men with such pale complexions? She puffed out her chest proudly. I am a water fairy after all. My water tastes divine. Drink it and your complexion will improve instantly. She then spat out a stream of clear water from her mouth and held it out to him. Go on. Drink this. Get lost, Eugene said flatly, recoiling. That's disgusting. I can purify it, she protested. I can make clean water anywhere instantly. She suddenly clung to him. If I use my hands instead of spitting it out, I can do it much faster. I don't need it, Eugene said. She ignored him and tightened her grip. Then I'll just stay with you. And just like that, the water spirit Miriam became Eugene's new partner. A few days later, in the nearby village of Broadwind, the chief and the villagers were gathered together when someone suddenly shouted that the red-eyed monster had appeared. The chief and the others hurried outside and found several animal carcasses laid out neatly. It was the result of a hunt. They examined a boar in particular. The amount of meat was far more than usual. This is too much, someone muttered. Can we even take all of this? A boy looked up at the chief and asked, What do you think the red-eyed monster is thinking? He usually only throws us a little game once every full moon. It's not even time for him to come yet. To them, he was a sinner who lived at the foot of the mountain, far from the village, known only as the red-eyed monster. Yet for over 10 years he had lived nearby without ever harming anyone. Instead, once every full moon he would visit late at night and leave behind hunted game. Who could ever understand what went on inside a sinner's mind? Just as they were thinking this, a calm voice called out from a distance. May I step into the village for a moment? They all hesitated. This was the first time in 10 years they had seen him appear openly. Eugene, meanwhile, recalled how frightened everyone had been when he first appeared a decade ago. But since he offered hunted beasts as though paying a tax, the villagers eventually stopped paying him much attention. And so, this strange relationship continued for over 10 years. The chief finally stepped forward and welcomed him. It's been a while, he said cautiously. Do you have something to say? Eugene moved slightly closer and spoke. I have lived far from the village all this time because I contracted a disease. After a long period of seclusion, I have finally recovered. I came today to share this good news. He paused before continuing. Over the years, I've received much help from this village. I wish to return the favor. If anything ever happens, if you ever need me, please call for me at any time. As he spoke, Eugene removed his hood. The mask hiding his face fell away. The villagers gasped. Standing before them was a handsome young man. None of them had imagined that the red-eyed monster looked like this. Was this really the sinner who lived in the forest? Was he a half-elf? A noble? No one knew. He had always worn a mask. The chief stared, stunned. Was he always this good-looking? Beside Eugene, the water spirit pouted. Why are you giving away all the game we worked so hard to catch? She complained. What are you thinking? Eugene didn't respond, merely gazing calmly toward the forest as he listened. Miriam continued, Aren't vampires supposed to be about blood, slaughter, and death? In human society, Eugene replied quietly, making acquaintances matters. Showing goodwill matters too. But if you're not going to eat them, the water spirit argued, why mingle with humans at all? You said we're leaving in a few days. If we won't need this place anymore, then none of this matters. Eugene pulled his mask back on. I used to think things were unrelated too, he said. But I learned that isn't always the case. I can't just stand by and watch what's about to happen. He continued calmly, Soon mercenaries will storm this place. Everyone in this village will die. Miriam froze. They're coming to kidnap a boy from Broadwind, Eugene said. They plan to take him to Lord Titaquin's castle. To erase witnesses, they'll slaughter the entire village. If this happens, the future will spiral until even the holy knights intervene. The water spirit stared at him in shock. If that's true, how do you know all this? All the villagers will die, she asked quietly. I've been with you for days, yet I still can't read you. What are you really thinking? You'll find out soon enough, Eugene replied. Just watch. Then he added, Before that, shouldn't I earn a little trust? So they know I'm harmless. What does trust have to do with mercenaries? Miriam asked. Eugene suddenly stopped walking and looked ahead. There they were. Mercenaries approached along the road. They spotted Eugene immediately. Who's that guy? One sneered. What's with that hairstyle? They assumed he was from the village. That was a problem. They had planned to sneak in unnoticed. He's got a pretty face, another muttered. Not much armor. And he's alone. It'll be trouble if he screams, said the mercenary pretending to be their leader. Make sure he doesn't. A subordinate lunged forward, swinging a double axe. Before the blade could reach him, Eugene calmly reached out and tore the man's head clean off with his bare hand. The remaining mercenaries froze in horror. Eugene turned slightly and said to Miriam, "Think carefully. Building trust matters. Otherwise, I'll look suspicious." His eyes darkened. "Because I'm going to kill every last one of them." His hand transformed into a black, beast-like shape as he stepped forward, his expression terrifying. He was ready to slaughter them all.